Coming up on today's edition of Titans Today, we need to have the Will Levis conversation, a nuanced one, the good, the bad, the ugly, as Tennessee's 0-3, and the play of the quarterback has had a pretty massive impact on the 3 losses Tennessee has had so far. Before we get into that, your chance to sound off in the comments section. Do you believe in Will Levis as the Titans' potential franchise QB? Why for yes and for no? Go vote in the comments. The Titans are 0-3. They just lost to the guy that Will Levis replaced as a potential future option in Malik Willis, and that just leaves a terrible taste in your mouth. And the play of Levis has been a massive issue so far. There are very real concerns with the way he has played, the consistency. There has been growth as well. I want to have a nuanced conversation, not just opposite ends of the spectrum. He's the answer. He's terrible. It's football. It is a team sport. It is not a black and white issue. It is almost always a gray issue. And there are some things Levis has done well. He's completing 68% of his passes. He's got 579 passing yards in a down passing league right now. It's not that bad. He offers mobility. He offers rushing ability. He has 4 touchdowns, though, against 8 turnovers. That is a huge issue, a massive issue. Now, I will say, I do think you have seen some growth. I do think you've seen some flashes. The yards per attempt has gone up. The completion percentage has gone up in back-to-back weeks. Touchdowns went up 1 against the Packers. But the turnovers, man, which we'll get into, are so bad. There is growth. There is flashes. There's promise. The players are not out on him, as we'll get into, which is a very big deal in this conversation. What we affectionately term the bozo gene, which Josh Allen has in spades, and he's even cut it out this year, which is a huge, big deal for Buffalo. The bozo gene stuff of, you're just making like 2, 3, 4, whatever, like, what are you doing moments? Like, what are you doing out there? Stop it. That makes no sense. Why would you do that? Those moments are massive reasons in why you haven't won 3 games. You are not that far away from being 3-0. Should at least be 2-1, frankly. But the bozos gene stuff has to stop. You have a quarterback who leads, a player, frankly, because it's not just, quarterbacks tend to leave it because of interceptions. He leads the NFL in turnovers. He's got 8 in 3 games. It's unsustainable play. I can't win games doing that. Not realistically. Might be able to sneak one out when my defense plays great. But 3 fumbles, 1 in each game, 5 interceptions, I can't have that. The turnovers, the back-breaking turnovers, ones it's just like the meme, right? Like, it is, what are you doing? You can't have it anymore. You have to find a way to iron that stuff out. Because other stuff, as we'll get into, does look kind of promising. So a lot more conversation to come here. But would you bench Will Levis? S for you're going to keep starting him. B for you're benching him right now. Playing Mason Rudolph. Let me know in the comments. I am not benching him right now for multiple different reasons. One of the biggest of which is this. Once you bench Will Levis, I don't think there's any going back and getting good results. You can go back and see what happens, but once you bench the young guy who's supposed to be your future, the success rate's pretty bad. Mostly because the quarterbacks who are getting benched are not very good or end up being good anyway. At least not with the current team. So once you bench him, the writing's on the wall. It's not going to work out. Most importantly, it's not all his fault. Some quotes from players and coaches I think do matter and do stand out. Brian Callahan, hey, you going to ride with Will? Oh, yeah. We've also got to play better around him. Not going to overreact to an interception. Those things happen. Guys throw picks. We just can't give it to their team. It's a killer. But we have not played a complete game in any phase at any point yet. DeAndre Hopkins. I wouldn't want anyone else out there on the field the way he prepares and goes about his day. I think he's going to learn from his mistakes. He hasn't even played a full season. It's just going to come with time. But it's not just Will. Defensive leader, Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, we saw the first scoring drive. I believe in Will. I believe in his team. At the end of the day, we all have got to play better. There does reach a critical mass point where if the players don't believe in the quarterback, you have to make a change because otherwise they're not going to believe in you and the entire organizational structure falls apart. The coaches and players, I think pretty clearly, are not at that point yet. I don't see a lot of just awful body language stuff out there like you saw with Bryce Young and Adam Thielen as a veteran just throwing his hands up and just looking mad over there. I don't think they're at that point. And until that point reaches, this season at least, keep playing it. You want to know for certain. There's a lot of concerns and some positivity there, but a big part of this season, especially now 0-3, you've got 6 teams ever since the Super Bowl era have made the playoffs starting the year 0-3. You're probably not going to be a playoff team. You need to figure out if you can be a playoff team next year with this guy at quarterback. More to come, but today's show is made possible by Factor Meals. It is football season. I don't have time. I don't have time to cook and prep and clean, and I'd like to not spend as much money out. That's why I love Factor Meals. Fresh, never frozen, that are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. 35 different meals, 60 different add-ons to choose from every week. You'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this month with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Head to factormeals.com/TitansChat50 and use code TitansChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That is code TitansChat50 at factormeals.com/TitansChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Now, you saw the comments made by the players and coaches acknowledging this. It is not all Levis's fault. It is not. It is a team sport, and if we're going to have the conversation on Levis, we should have the conversation on some of the disaster class stuff that has happened around him, I should say. The most notable of which is this. Your offensive line has not done its job. The advanced stats for Will Levis that stand out to me, the most notable of which is pressure rate. He has the second highest pressure rate in football, 47.0%. That's bad. And he's bad under pressure, as we'll get into. Now, he's not holding the ball crazy long either. The time to throw is league average. It's right where it should be. It's not like he is consistently holding the ball forever and inviting pressure. It's not been his thing. He does push the ball downfield a decent amount, which makes sense. He's got a strong arm. You should do that. I want to take some shot plays, get some explosives. I like that. The play action rate's pretty high too, which is a good thing. The tight window throws are also a little bit high. Now, that can be a deceptive stat. It's not a ridiculously high figure. You don't have an elite slot receiver. There's not a ton of open stuff in that regard. Although Boyd's been fine. Hopkins is not an elite separator necessarily either, but it's a little bit high. Could be he's not seeing it. Could be he's missing open guys. Could be guys aren't getting open as frequently as you want. But the pressure rate is what stands out. It's really hard to be a good quarterback when you're pressured on 50% of your dropbacks almost. Now, we got 55 dropbacks. These are all, by the way, all these numbers are per next-gen stats. Completes under 40% of the time. It's not very good. Now, most QBs are bad under pressure, or at least worse under pressure. 4.28 yards per, or 4.2 yards per attempt is terrible. It's really bad. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. He's taken 15 sacks. Now, you're going to get pressured in the NFL. It's going to happen. It has to be lower. Your offensive line is still not good enough, which we kind of thought would probably be the case. But the best QBs, the ones that separate the great college QBs or the passable NFL QBs, the great ones are great under pressure. They beat the blitz. They make plays under duress, and that is what separates them. See with Jared Goff. He's been good under pressure in Detroit. Looks better than he did in the Rams, and he was bad under pressure. Have to protect him better, and the quarterback has to be better when he's not fully protected. We will have Titans videos for you guys all year long, so make sure you don't miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/Titans today. Let's look big picture here at the expected points added per play. Now, that's EPA per play. It's an advanced metric. It does a good job of the overall health of the offense. If there are things that can go against you, If you throw the ball to the receiver bats it up in the air, drops it and it's picked off, that goes against you. So it is somewhat a team statistic. I think does show up in some of these areas, but touchdowns, big plays, super helpful. Going backwards, sacks, fumbles, turnovers, all bad. The sacks being high hurts Will Levis. It's not a great group. I do think that the Caleb Williams stuff is the Bears supporting cast structure, like the coaching staff, offensive line is bad. You're seeing some of that with Will Levis, but that's a bad group to be in. And there's also a big drop-off there, right? That's almost a full 0.1 per play. So every 7 plays, you're losing a point. That's so bad. But you're in bad company there. Now, if you take out the turnovers, for all QBs, it's a lot better. He jumps to number 26 without turnovers. That's improvement, and it's positive EPA per play, which indicates something that we mostly know for a lot of QBs. Turnovers are bad, and the turnovers from Will Levis in particular are super bad. And I want to go back to one of my lines from my scouting report on Levis coming out of Kentucky. I modified it slightly to have it make grammatical sense and fit, but Will Levis has arm talent and was limited by injury and a bad supporting cast at Kentucky. But he makes too many Wentzian mistakes, and he didn't elevate this year. Your UK this year. Scares me. The Wentzian mistakes seemingly happen every game. They are killers. Is that not what we have seen? Seen some good stuff. Got the arm strength, can make some plays, live arm. The brutal back-breaking mistakes. If they don't stop, it's just not going to work. It's only a handful of plays, but those plays kill you. They have cost you 2 wins, or at least 1 win. So if those mistakes, if those back-breaking errors don't stop, it's never going to work out for Will Levis. It is early. I'm not bailing on him yet, but you have to coach those out somehow. So what is your confidence level right now in Will Levis? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comment section of today's show.